So here we are at CRE Midlands. We're at the Monkey Nut Audiobooks and Sound Stand. I'm here with Glen. I am loving everything that they are about and what they are doing. So I was like, get in front of the wall. Let's have a chat. Glen, nice to see you, mate.
So good to see you too.
So tell me more, tell them more about what you're doing, why you're here and what's going on.
Okay, so we come to CRE to just get our brand out there.
And your brand is?
Harvesters Ministries.
Harvesters Ministries.
Yeah, and we're a church planting organisation. We're in, I think, 95 countries around the world. And this is the exciting, we're planting 100 churches a day at the moment. We've got around 35,000 pastors that we've trained already, and they all have to plant one church a year. So you can see the exponential growth that's going to happen. And we hope to reach our vision of 1 million churches planted by 2030 and train a pastor for each of those churches by 2033. So
why didn't you start off with that conversation with me over there? I thought the stuff you were saying was awesome in the first place.
It scares people off. They think they don't believe it, but it's actually happening.
Okay, so first of all, wow.
Yeah.
How does that happen? What's that look? When you say plant a church, I can imagine that would look slightly different compared to where it is, what it could look like, the scale of it.
Yeah.
What could it look like from there, and what could it look like over there?
Okay, so the first thing is we've got a British or Western mentality where we think building, we think pastor and a salary, we think programs. We don't think like that when we're planting a church with our church planting program in other countries around the world. What we do, we gather pastors together and we teach them how to evangelize. We teach them what the gospel is. They generally know what the gospel is, but just to reinforce it so they've got the confidence to share about Jesus dying for them, for the forgiveness of their sins, and that he rose again to give them a new life. And they go out with that message, the good news. And so on their first session with us, they actually get to go out and evangelize, which some of them find quite scary, just as we would.
Let's get in the deep end, guys,
Because if you want to plant a church our way, or God's way, we would say, is that you start with evangelism. You start to tell them about Jesus. And when you get a few people saved, you start a church where they are. Don't necessarily bring them back to your church unless they're nearby, but you start a new church with those new believers.
Yes.
Okay? And then the key thing then is to make disciples of them. And so the next session that we do with those pastors is we teach them a whole discipleship program so that they can teach those new believers that they've won to the Lord how to grow in their faith, how to pray, how to read the Bible, how to witness, all the basics we know as Christians, but a fast-track way of spending time with them, teaching them to follow Christ as we follow him as well.
Do you know what I love about what you're saying? Is because we actually share some similar passions, you and I, and that we really do. But what it just feels like is you are just doing a continuation of the Book of Acts. It's and it's so great because you often find that some people really hold on to it. So there's the New Testament there, there's the Old Testament there, but it's not. We are part of that. We are a continuation, and you are doing that in abundance. And I'm sorry, I have to say, I'm going to say it. I'm going to make it loud and proud out here. I don't think there could be better work than this. I think this is incredible.
Well, that's what fires me up to think about. How do you serve God? And yes, thank God for all the different organizations that are here.
Yes.
We love them and they're all doing their part. But to actually do what Jesus told us to do, to go and make disciples into all the world and make disciples, teaching them to obey all that Jesus commanded, that's what we actually do. And we do that through getting people saved, discipling them in a church, and then teaching them to do the same thing. So we train disciples that make disciples, we plant churches that plant churches, and we train leaders that make leaders.
Amazing. Just amazing. So let's tell people, how can they find you?
Yeah, we are on www.harvestersministries.com. Okay, www.harvestersministries.com. I have to say that because there's lots of S's in there.
There is a lot of S's as well, but we can put a DS on it. It'll be fine. I think it's great. Very, very best to you. And
so good to thank you for interviewing us today.
No. Thank you for doing it. And I'd like to stay in touch with you forever, actually.
Super.
All right. Super. Thank you.